Hello, everybody. Scott Golden, Golden Opportunities Coaching here. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we break down psychological, emotional, and coaching related topics. We do that in a discernible way through an audio format almost every day. And so we are about 280 audios into this, just about. And we try to meet the needs of the people, and so ultimately that means kind of taking your considerations into consideration when making these audios. And so if you have something you'd like to see covered, please feel free to leave a comment below, and with that comment we will in fact be able to come to a consensus and usually put up an audio for you. So this one is going to be about identifying and breaking bad habits. So there's a series of steps one goes through in order to break a bad habit. A bad habit is just a process that a person goes through to cope with pain or to experience pleasure. Unfortunately, in these particular cases, they have negative consequences, both short or long term. And so there are things that one needs to do in order to break the habit, and we're going to run through those here. First thing is identify the triggers. What are you doing right before you engage in the negative behavior? Why are you doing what you're doing before you uh, engage in the behavior? How long have you done this? Was there a trauma surrounding it? Is there a certain series of events that happens right before you do it? What is your emotional state when it's happening? Do other people put you in the state, and can other people take you out of the state? And are there other things that happen either right before or right after you engage in the behavior? These things are important so you can chart the likelihood that you're near a trigger break. When you begin to understand your triggers, you can also then understand how to counteract them. Focus on the fact that you can change, not that you haven't. One of the biggest problems that people have when trying to change a bad habit is they focus on how long it's been since they've taken the pathway to a more positive lifestyle, and this can cause major challenges. If you focus on what you haven't done yet, then you'll continue doing what you haven't been doing, because you're going to defeat yourself mentally before you even get to a place where you can make a positive change. It's also important to have a support group of people that you can turn to when you're about to do the negative behavior. Whether it's dating when you shouldn't, and there's lots of people out there that do that just to have someone, whether it's the use of alcohol or drugs, gambling, or another bad habit, when you have a group of people around you that help to keep you accountable, it's easier not to engage in the habit. In other words, most of us don't want to disappoint a group of people that matter to us, and so if we have that group aware of what we're trying to break, it's more likely we'll reach out to them in shaky moments. Practice mental mindfulness is another good tip. Realize that every moment comes and goes. Every day comes and goes. Every experience and emotion comes and goes. Things are, in fact, in a flow. And so if you can get to a point where you can get focused on the moment, whether that be through deep breathing, use of music, use of other sound, use of active visualization, or physical visualization, in other words, looking at something you find beautiful or awe-inspiring when you're ready to do a negative thing instead, you can actually heighten your chances of overcoming the moment that you feel compelled to engage in your behavior. When you can overcome one moment, you can overcome two. When you can overcome two, you can overcome three. When you can overcome three, you can overcome five. And before you know it, you've overcome a whole day, and then a whole week, and then a whole month, and then etc. and so forth. So the idea is really to begin with the power of the moment and then replicate your ability to control your moments. Accept that an addictive behavior needs a replacement. So, a person with an addictive personality type, that is someone who is prone to repetitive behaviors, positive or negative, is always going to have that proneness. So, if you are a person that has an addictive personality type, you've got to find a positive outlet for that part of your brain, for that part of your experience. And so, if that is helping others, if that's cooking instead of drinking, if that's knitting or creating art instead of self-harm, whatever that is, you've got to find a positive outlet. The people that say addiction can be beaten don't really understand it. What you're actually doing is creating a new pathway in your brain about what you get addicted to or what that addictive nature is poured into. It's not necessarily beating it, because it is a tendency that constantly has to be battled against unless you've replaced it with something healthier. You know, check in with yourself throughout the day. Celebrate the successes you've had. And then understand that you will slip upon occasion. When you slip, practice active forgiveness. Yes, I slipped and it wasn't what I wanted, but I have been successful 4 out of 5 days this week, or I have been successful all but 2 days this month. Look at the numbers that are adding up positively, not the 1 or 2 or 3 times that you slip up. Realize and recognize that this is not an all or nothing mindset, meaning it's not that you either do this and you're 100% successful, or that you don't do this and you're a failure as a person. Instead, realize that success is a series of habitual practices that take place over days, then weeks, then months, then years. Start small and understand that every moment that you're winning over the addictive behavior counts, and every moment you lose is a setback, but not a definition of your identity. The next thing is, if need be, change your environment. Change who you're around, change where you hang out, change what you do, and make sure that you need to be checking in with yourself to make sure that if you're going to go into a high targeted area or something that may trigger you, you have something on the other side, a positive reward for getting through it, or something you're looking forward to doing that you couldn't do if you were to engage in negative behavior. So these are the important ways of breaking that bad habit, and hopefully this has been helpful to you. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.